Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. Our topic is a pilot study on the perceived source of writing difficulties among Chinese international students in Malaya. It includes three parts. Let's start with introduction. For the research background, first is the context. Malaya has seen the growth in English media instruction programs and international students, so more learners are required to produce academic writing in English. At the same time, the real study environment is multilingual. Chinese students often switch between Chinese, English, and sometimes Malay in daily learning and mini-making, so they face double challenge, translating thoughts into English and meeting academic writing conventions such as structure, argumentation, and reference. So our key issue is that the major difficulties mainly linguistic, mainly academic convention, or an interaction shaped by the multilingual practice. Next, we briefly summarize the common perspective. First is the linguistic perspective, which focuses on grammar and vocabulary problem, but it may underplay the role of academic conventions. Second is the academic literal perspective. It regards writing as a social practice shaped by institutional expectation. Third is the multilingual influence perspective, which looks at how students use first language in planning and translating and how their perspectives impact on organization stance and reference. Based on those perspectives, we identify three gaps. First, the student's voice is still limited. Many studies focus on error or teacher's feedback, but fewer directly ask students what they think the main source of difficulties are. Second, writing problems are often treated too broadly. We need to separate linguistic difficulty from academic convention difficulties more clearly. Third, multilingual practice are often underestimated. We still need clear evidence on how students perceive first language based on thinking and planning when writing English. So our study had two research objectives. The first is to compare which type of difficulty students perceive are more challenging. The language features such as the grammar or the vocabulary, or the academic conventions such as structure, argumentation, and reference. The second is to examine to what extent students believe first language-based thinking or planning interferes with their English academic writing. So accordingly, the RQ1 asks which type of difficulty is perceived as more challenging, and RQ2 asks about the perceived extent of first language interference. In terms of significance, theoretically, we connect academic literals with multilingual students' experience in Malaya context. Pedagogically, our finding can help teachers decide whether sport should focus more on language accuracy or academic conventions or a balanced approach. For students, it may clarify whether the difficulty is my English is weak or I'm still learning academic conventions. It also highlights how multilingual strategies can be used more effectively. Next, we move on to the literature review.
Okay, now let's move to the second part, literature review. First, let's move on the theoretical framework to deeply analyze the nature of students' writing difficulties. This study adopted Lee and Street's academic literacy model, as shown in this diagram. Additionally, writing is often viewed merely as a study skill, focusing on grammar and vocabulary. However, this study emphasizes the higher levels, academic socialization and academic literacy. This means we are looking at how students adapt to the hidden rules and identity of the academic community. But why is this socialization so hard for Chinese students? To answer research question 2, we integrated the constructive rhetoric theory, especially L1 negative transfer supported by Jing in 2023. This helps explain how Chinese spiral thinking interferes with English linear structure. First, for the context, Xue and Xin confirm that language proficiency and pedagogical differences are the top barriers in Malaysia, and this validates the urgency of my study. We want to explore whether Chinese students at Malaysia perceive linguistic errors or academic convention violations as the greater barrier to their writing success. Second, regarding the gap, Zhang and Hassan found students perceive vocabulary as their biggest hurdle, often overlooking critical thinking, and this justifies my research question 1. We need to test if students are prioritizing skills over literacy. Third, Jing identifies the cause, showing that L1 spiral thinking interferes with English linear structure. This supports my hypothesis for research question 2, L1 interference, like thinking in Chinese, direct translation, correlate with the difficulties experienced in mastering academic writing conventions. Finally, offering a solution, Gao and Wang demonstrate that teaching academic socialization is more effective than just fixing grammar, and this is crucial. It proved that my theoretical choice, the academic literacies model, is the right approach for Chinese students. Next, my teammate will talk about methodology part.
At first, it's the research design. We will divide it into quantitative phrase and qualitative phrase. For the first phrase, we will use a structured survey to answer the research question 1. This will provide a statistical ranking of which difficulties those Chinese students think are most challenging. And for the second phrase, which is qualitative one, we will conduct a semi-structured interview and to answer how students think and plan in Mandarin, which is their first language, while writing in English. So we will target at Chinese international students that study in Malaysian universities that enrolls in English medium programs, both undergraduate and postgraduate. So since this will be a pilot study, we will choose about around 20 responses for the questionnaire and 2 or 3 interviewees for the qualitative part. For the data collection, we will make a questionnaire Likert scale 1 to 5 to answer the research question 1 and to find out the types of academic writing difficulties. So we will compare some themes like linguistic issues or conventions and compare which of them are the bigger problem or which of them are smaller. And then we will make a semi-structured interview and which participate by volunteers that filled in the questionnaire. So this will answer the questions about the cognitive process of L1-based thinking and planning. So we will ask questions like when you start a paragraph, do you draft the logic in Chinese? Or how do you translate complex Chinese concepts? And for the data analysis, and we will use descriptive statistics for the research question 1 to rank the difficulties, like the data we got. So for the research question 2, we will use semantic analysis and the researchers will look for recurring patterns and to find out so which one is the real problem. And the last but not least, for the ethical considerations, we will record every student's answers anonymously because it will ensure students feel safe to write and to talk their struggles. And we will clearly state that this is a pilot study for research. That's all. Thank you.